What's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video. If you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share. Support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. Responding to this comment, and actually there was some really stupid comments. There was a guy saying that, God, there was some comment, dude. A dude talking about how, well, in every game has always had homogenized throws. Why don't you complain about that? Motherfucker, do you realize that in Street Fighter 2, throws were not homogenized? Characters have different throws, drastically different throw ranges. There were like there were like mash throws, all that kind of stuff. Like, my God. Then another guy saying like, oh, well, homogenization is good for combos, and so you don't have to know about different hurt boxes and hitbox. Oh my God, fuck. Okay. Jesus Christ. Last video I want to do on this topic for a while because I'm getting bored of talking about this and we're running around in circles, right? I can tell that people are not possible of critical thinking and people are just want to talk about something subjectively that they like. And this, I'm going to respond to this specific comment at the bottom to show you what I'm talking about. What I like a lot about universal mechanics in modern fighting games is how they act as equalizers. If they are meaningful enough, they make it easier for weaker characters to function decently. I feel like most of the time games with few to no universal mechanics are the hardest to balance properly, and many characters end up being trash. Now, I do understand that this comes at the expense of variety in playstyles, but I'd rather have 20 characters that play similarly than 4 unique characters that are top tier and 16 that are garbage. Here's a PP for you. That you made up a fake game. No, I'm serious. This is a fake game. I don't know. I actually have no idea what the fuck game you're talking about. It sounds like an imaginary game to me. Because guess what? Why have I been making all these videos in the first place? Or at least about this topic. I said before, I guess this is like, we're coming full circle. I know this is hard. People are like incapable of critical thinking. And they just talk about, well, I like this, so it's better. I don't give a fuck about subjectivity, right? We're not having a subjectivity discussion here right now. We're talking about something objective. You have made up a fake game in your head, okay? There is no reason, there is no precedent whatsoever to believe that as games have becoming more and more homogenized, that the games are now more balanced. No, I'm serious. There's no precedent, no reason for you to believe this whatsoever. This is something make-believe in your head. Guess what? Street Fighter 6. We've complained about Street Fighter 6, right? Street Fighter 6 is a homogenized game. Guess what? Are there better characters and are there worse characters? Guess what there are? Shocking. Top tier characters. Well, what was mostly that? What do you see? I feel like mostly in tournaments for the first year of fucking Street Fighter 6. You know what I feel like it was mostly? I feel like it was mostly, let's say JP and Ken at the top, right? JP and Ken. Then maybe, some Blanca. And then, maybe Chun-Li and Luke. Is that maybe about the 5 most characters I feel like I saw whenever I watched the game? Even in a homogenized game, and you could correct, I'm sure there's going to be some stat nerd, whatever, but oh, Guile too, maybe, but generally speaking, those were the characters. Yes, there's better characters, even in a homogenized game like Street Fighter 6. There's characters that were distinctively weaker. Now, we can easily beat your fucking argument. Like I said, there's no precedent to believe what you're saying whatsoever, because guess what? Look at a game like Super Turbo. Super Turbo, where every character is unique. Guess what? You can still go and watch matches of Super Turbo, and guess what? You'll see matches that are supposedly unwinnable, and you'll see this character winning all these unwinnable matchups. You'll see terrible characters just demolishing teams. They have these Super Turbo. I feel like they do it every week. East Japan versus West Japan. You'll see a terrible characters steamrolling people. It happens. Even in this unique game that you're trying to theorize that, oh, well, in unique games, only better characters win because they're so unique. No, this is the balance and the chaos that I've talked about. If anything, Super Turbo is a great example because guess what? All these fucking characters get played. If we're talking about, let's look at a game like CVS2, a game that has a homogenized problem. I know some people like role canceling, I get it, but it is in the ether, in the narrative of the game. If you're holding a gun to somebody's head, what's something you're going to tell someone about CVS2 if they're getting into the game? You better watch out for role canceling. Better learn about it. So guess what? In a game that even has a homogenized enemy, let's say to speak, a more common enemy more often than not, I know K-Groove exists and all this kind of stuff. Guess what? There's still much better characters than other characters. There's a whole slew of characters that just don't get played in the game. They just don't get played. Then, in contrast, if we're to go to a game like CVS1, and this isn't that I think CVS1 is the most amazing game ever either, but CVS1, look at all the characters that get played. A game that is not homogenized. There is no homogenized enemy. There's no common enemy in that game. Every ratio 1 character gets played. Almost every ratio 2 character can get played. You know, ratio 3, not as much, admittedly. Ratio 4, not really. But you still got a good half the cast in that game can be played. There's a lot of different things. I'm not seeing, oh God, there's a game with 20 characters, only 4 ever get played. Look at a game like Alpha 2. What is the common enemy? What is a common enemy of Alpha 2? Custom combos. Now, people that like Alpha 2 and their own retardation, their own mental illness, they will tell you, oh, well, custom combos make the game balanced because, you know, the game is pretty unbalanced besides that. But custom combos, which is, it proves what I said. Like, oh my God, do I need to do a Pikachu with the PP voice? Custom combos, giving everyone the best move in the game that is applicable in every situation, is a bit of a balancing act. But by saying that, you're also kind of admitting that the game is complete trash and not balanced besides that, right? But even saying that, even though, yes, you're admitting that, Clayton, you're always right, thank you. But I don't want to admit you're right. The game is unbalanced, but custom combos are kind of making it balanced. But fuck you, you know. Even saying that, a game with a common enemy, generally in the narrative of the game, custom combos, guess what? Yeah, it's still, you know what? At the end of the day, still a lot of Ken, still a lot of Chun-Li, still a lot of Rose, still a lot of Sakura, you know what I mean? Some Ryu, some Orlento, you know what I mean? And that's probably about it, right? Those are probably the most characters. Maybe some Akuma too, right? And then after that, you know, I would say it goes probably a pretty big drop of what you're seeing. Yes, you see some bad characters win because of custom combos, no doubt, right? Giving everyone the best move in the game. Watch the GED theory, which I've talked about, which is proven right as well. Even saying that, guess what? Homogenized game, you're still, yes, a bad character can win. A bad character can win in fucking Street Fighter 6. A bad character can win in fucking Super Turbo. You can pick a bad character and they can technically win almost in any single game, technically, right? To varying degrees. But you see what I'm getting at? There's no precedent to believe that there is any homogenized game where there's not top tiers, where there's not bottom tier characters, right? Look at a game like Alpha 1. Again, it's a ghetto game. I love using Alpha 1 as an example because Alpha 1 is a ghetto game. Guess what? Alpha 1, no homogenized mechanics, and guess what? Boy, you look at Alpha 1 and you're like, who are the best characters in the game? You'd say, you know, probably Akuma and Ken. After that, you know, Guy Rose tier. After that, you know, maybe Ryu in his own tier, something like that. And then you got, boy, it's just a clusterfuck, right? You know, you got me. Could be in Bison with Saddam, Charlie, you know. Then after that, probably just the rest of the characters. It's not like a big jump. It's not like, oh, there's only these good characters. It's not like, oh, hey, let's say this guy's arguing. There's 20 characters, but only a couple get played and the rest are just complete trash. Dude, Alpha 1, what are you talking about? Alpha 1's if you think about it, Alpha 1's a pretty balanced game. Of course, there's broken shit. Every game has broken shit. Every game has shit that's worse than other things, right? Super Turbo, yes, there's some characters that are better than others. Yes, there's some characters that are worse than others. Guess what? Every fucking character gets played. If anything, there is a precedent to believe that the games with the least homogenization tend to actually have more characters that are played. Now, I don't want to say that that is always the case, right? But I'm tempted to say that generally speaking, I mean, look at a game like the old school Guilty Gears. Fuck, dude, you know? Yeah, there's better characters, but you still see characters that are not quite as good, right? You know, it's just it's such a fucking like, what are you talking about? What is this fairy tale game that you're talking about that when games are more unique, you don't see characters played? There's just going to be two characters, where four characters, as this guy said. If you have a game of 20 characters, if there's a top tier, just going to be a few characters get played, no one else gets played. This is an imaginary game. Absolute imaginary game. I can't even think of the game that you're referencing. No, I literally cannot even think of the game that you're referencing. That is just impossible to see these lower tier characters played. Every game has good characters. Every game has bad characters. Homogenization has not made a top tier and a bottom tier not exist. This is some sort of coping mechanism. It shows you're not capable of having an intelligent conversation. I understand you like some game. I fucking understand. No, trust me. I read some of the comments I get. I understand. Like I said, there's some people that think Third Strike is the greatest fighting game ever. Then everyone loves Third Strike. They have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like I said, I was reading some comment. Oh, well, if Clayton thinks parries are look at the example of Third Strike, right? Oh, parries with a homogenized mechanic. Even with parries, a homogenized mechanic to even the playing field from a certain perspective. Guess what? Third Strike still has a top tier and a bottom tier. Whoa! You mean Third Strike that has a bit of homogenization? Where the main common narrative of the game is parry, that there's still good characters and bad characters? Oh my god, I can't believe it. My argument does not hold up even to the least bit of scrutiny. Excuse me. Again, I understand some people like certain games. I like this game better than this other game. I like this game better. Blah 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 blah. Okay, what you like is not a conversation. Okay, people like all sorts of weird shit. Right? Here's a weird. I'm gonna use a really weird analogy for you. Talking about balance. Yes, I'm not wearing pants because I'm getting ready for bed. Let's talk about balance, right? You think that homogenization is good for everything. With homogenization, everything's automatically balanced. I'm gonna use a stupid example because this is like the level of stupidity that I think that you even saying that is. Do you eat food? Do you eat healthy food? Do you try to have a balanced diet? Okay. Now let's say you're me. Okay. Let's say you're a retard version of me. You like chicken sandwiches. You like chicken. I like chicken. Hey, this already sounds like me. Okay. Now, let's say that because you like chicken, you only eat chicken. And in your homogenized world, this is how stupid I'm going. Because this is how stupid these comments seem to me. And you're like, why I like chicken? So, you know what? I mean, I could eat KFC. I could eat Popeye. You know what I mean? I could eat chicken here, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? That's not a fucking balanced diet. It doesn't matter if you fucking like chicken. I understand that you like the homogenization of your chicken. You like all sorts of chicken in this homogenized world of you. But guess what? You need to have a balanced diet. And when you actually have a balanced diet, you're like, whoa, chicken is pretty cool, dude. But you know what? Sometimes I could go for a little bit of mashed potatoes on the side, a little bit of carbs. And you know what? I could go for some vegetables. Well, actually, vegetables are gross, so just give me the smoothie. That might be me. That might be me. You know what I mean? You need to have a balanced diet. And when you bring in all the balance, you're a more healthy person. Because every piece gets to shine. You're like, wow, I can after eating these terrible vegetables, which are good for my body, I can appreciate the chicken. The potatoes are always good, but you know, just like you're homogenized, you think, oh God, well, I always love my chicken. Every character should have a chicken sandwich. Well fuck, you know, okay. Well, then you're going to run into the problem of, even in this homogenization, you're always going to run into, there might be, maybe you're a Popeyes guy. It's like, well, fuck, I know we all got chicken, but Popeyes is fucking Popeyes. Popeyes is going to win. Do you see the level of retardation? This is how stupid I think this argument is, dude. You got to have a balanced diet, just like in a fucking fighting game, dude. Again, there's no precedent to believe whatsoever what you're saying. There's no reason to believe that as fighting games have become more and more homogenized, that they have become more balanced. There's nothing like that whatsoever. Now, I can't say with exact clarity that there is a greater number of games that are actually more variable the more broken games were. Broken, unique games were, let's say, when every character has something broken, right? But certainly there are examples like Super Turbo, game that people want to act like doesn't exist and is fucking evil to talk about nowadays. Guess what? Super Turbo, where every character is unique. Guess what? Not only 4 characters get played. Sorry, dude. You're living in a fantasy world if you fucking think that. It's like make believe conversations these people are having. This is how it works. It just doesn't, dude. I think I had something else to say, but yeah, I can't. I'm getting a little bored of talking about this. Like, you know, just, you know, I mean, I will say, of course, like I said, when we talk about the GED theory, yeah, if you're talking about that making games more homogenized and leveling the playing field in that, does that make it more balanced that you don't have to practice to be just as good as this other person because the games are so dumbed down? Is that what we're talking about? Is that what we're talking about now? Excuse me. I need to talk about something else. I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored of this. I need to think of a different video game thing to talk about. Again, I get bored talking about the same thing. We did 3 videos in a row. I need to talk about, I've thought about doing an actual CVS video or CVS2 video. And maybe I'll do that next. But anyway, just this specific thing. Come on, guys. If you're trying to argue me, you have to come with something better. It's like fucking, you remember Raphael from Ninja Turtles in the movie? He's like, come on, how are you guys expecting to beat me? Like, come on. Really? I don't know. My brain, dude. Here's a PP.